Hi, my name is Aditi and this is Ganesh. We work for Fresh and Local. It's an organization that supports urban gardening. More specifically, we work on trying to grow your own food. Today we're going to be focusing on cinnamon basil. Cinnamon basil is a variety of basil that comes from abroad. It's called cinnamon basil because it has a cinnamon, sweet, licoricey type of taste. So it can be used in salads, it can be used in sandwiches, but what we enjoy it most for is to be used in herbal teas. We're going to start off with how to plant. Here we have a clay container, so it's a clay pot. You need to line it with something. So we are using filter sheet. आप कुछ पुराना कपड़ा भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो. And you want to make sure that the mitti stays in there, but you want to ensure that the water still flows away through the holes that are at the bottom of the container. We're going to start putting some dry waste. So you can put leaves, cuttings from plants if you've been pruning them. We have taken dry leaves from our garden. What you can do is take bagasse from the ganna wala. So you should line it about halfway because that will then end up pressing down in some time. Then what you need to do is take some nariyal. The nariyal as well, आप अपने नारियल पानी वाला से ले सकते हैं आप. उसमें आप मिट्टी भराओ. Our mitti is a mix of three things. It's a mix of cocoa soil, a mix of mitti, and a mix of compost. So we are using vermicompost that we have made here in our garden. So you need to do equal parts of each, and then your mix will look like that. Then once you fill it inside the nariyal, you flip it over और आप फिर अपने गमले में डाल दो at the bottom. You have to make sure that you push it down. Then उसके बाद you need to start filling mitti into your container. अभी next ये हमारा sapling है. आप ये बीज से भी शुरू कर सकते हैं, but because this is an exotic variety, it's easier if you just get a sapling from a nursery. You can also do this from cutting from a plant that is already doing quite healthy. You can take a cutting from that, put that in the soil, and it'll start growing its roots. So that's another option. So you take out the sapling, make sure that you don't damage the roots because that is the most sensitive part. You have to make a little hole in the container, like Ganesh is doing here, and then place the sapling into that hole and then cover. Basil is quite a hardy plant. If you take care of it well, it'll survive all throughout the year. It needs watering, of course, so Ganesh is going to put it some water now. What you need to do is check the moisture of the soil. That is how you gauge if it needs watering or not. So right now you put about a finger in, and if you can feel that there's moisture, पानी डालने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. If it's dry, then you need to water. If there is enough moisture, maybe wait a day, check and see if it needs water the next day. Basil can be in full sunlight. Ideally plant it in the winter time because that is not a harsh season. So it's easy to adapt and it can start growing its roots and spreading out. Basil is a type of shrub and a bush, so it'll branch out. When you see that the flowers start to grow at the top, like any basil starts to grow flowers at the end of its branches, if you snip the flower part off, that will encourage the plant to grow more like a bush because all of its energy will go into the leaves as opposed to going into the flower and the seed. If it starts going to flower and seed, the leaves start to fall off, they start to droop. What you can harvest is as it gets larger from the top, if you harvest the larger leaves, that's the best part of the plant to use. Also, if you start seeing that the leaves start to get a lighter color, you can start removing those leaves at the bottom because that will encourage growth at the top. It's best to transplant in the winter season because the weather is not as harsh. So we recommend as well that you water your plants in the evening. It ensures that the moisture stays in the soil from the evening through the night, and then the sun comes out in the morning and then it starts evaporating from the mitti. So this gives the plant or the sapling more time to absorb water. So it's best to water in the evening, best to transplant in the evening. This is best for the health of your plant and for your kitchen garden. So we hope you enjoy your kitchen garden.